How's it going, guys? This is a teardown analysis and refurbishment of, this is the ActionFlex Escrima stick. So as you can see, I've already started taking it apart. So I'll just kind of step into where I'm at here. This is the outer sleeve. I've inverted it so it's inside out now. I just wanted to see how the seam work was done. I've got, looks like a basic seam here. It's kind of boxed in here, so that makes perfect sense. This is still good condition, so I'll retain that. This was the handle. I think this is kind of like a tool handle, maybe for garden shears or what have you. If you know what this is, let me know. But it's in good shape again. I'll reuse that. This tape here was around this portion of the sleeve to hold it to the stick. So again, I'll reuse that. So this is the interesting part here. And why we're doing this is because this stick is about 10 years old or more. I don't remember when I got it, but it's that old. It's been used relatively lightly, although a recent session, one of our guys broke his, and so I figured also this one's getting a little soft, and I wanted to refurbish it and kind of, because it was getting a little bendy. So let's get into this a little bit. Now, when I first took the handle off, I was surprised to see this material here. This is not PVC like you would find in your plumbing. It seems like PEX, but if you know what this is, again, let me know what this is. So it could be that or polypropylene, I don't know. But anyways, it's not PVC, and you would think that this would be a solid piece all the way to the end, but as we'll discover, this is very interesting construction. So I already opened this up. I'll pull this out. So there's a lot going on here. Let me put this aside. The handle, surprisingly enough, is only this piece here. So this is, let's see, about 11 inches, give or take. And within that, starting right about here to about there, is another piece that's nested inside it. And it's actually solid. So that is about 6 inches, give or take. Interesting enough, as well, this is pinned in 2 places, so that's curious. And then even again, there's another piece beyond this to about here. So I think it's from here to here. So what does that would be? Well, my guess is that it extends all the way to where this other piece inserts. So that's maybe 16.5-ish. What I'm thinking is that this is hollow. I think this is also hollow. I'm not going to take it apart any further than this because I don't want to try to put this back, but I think this is a hollow thinner piece, probably 3/8, and then potentially essentially a step down sleeve. That's this little middle part here. That's what I think that is. So we'll roll with it anyways. So there's actually, and then at the very end you have this rubber tip. It's just a hose, which I think makes good sense because as opposed to having a full solid piece all the way to the end, you have a tip that'll deflect. So if you're hitting and you're striking with the end, it'll deflect like that, as opposed to a solid hit. So interesting. We got essentially four pieces here. Again, the handle portion, this sort of a step down sleeve, and then a thinner remainder of the shaft, and then the soft end. So what I want to do with this teardown is see, well, why did this, what are the weak spots of this? How can I make it a little better? Refurbish it as we use it some more. So here's the foam piece. Again, standard pipe insulation, like it's surrounded in duct tape, I suppose. What's interesting here is if we kind of peel this open, this is consistent with what I was feeling with this, is that it's essentially failed in the inside. It's all cracked through, and you can feel it from the outside how it's still smushy. So all of this whole area is essentially failed. So again, expected. I mean, it's not a big surprise. This is the part that was in the handle, so you can see it's still pretty intact. So, but what I can understand by looking at this is that this is I think this is 1/2 inch. What is this? Oh, 3/4. Okay, this is a 3/4 piece in the handle, and that fits nicely into the insulation. But of course, since this steps down, what you're ending up with is that you have a little gap here, like that. And so over time, when this is rattling around in there, especially when you're making impact, you have that airspace in here, and so I think which is going to lead to this situation with all this cracking, because it's not a solid piece. So what I think I want to do here is a couple things. I've got a new piece of pipe insulation I'm going to reuse to wrap this up, and what I want to do is actually make up this gap with something, as well as here. There was something in the end of this that disintegrated, and it was like foam. It might have been more of this stuff. Looks like it was, because it looks ripped here. So I think this extended all the way through, and there might have been something else inside here, but it's long gone. It's in bits now. But I would want to make up this gap to a 3/4. That way, there's no airspace in the new foam. Okay. So let me get rid of that. Here's the new piece. I already cut it to length. And what I've also done is I've taken this little dude, just a little piece of this, and I've cut it in half and just kind of profiled it down. What I want to do is wrap this around here, just to, again, to fill this up, because you know this is even thinner than this. So when this is in here, you got nothing. It's just rolling around in there, and so it's gonna flop around and get all worn out, which is exactly what I was experiencing. You can see here, this is the inside of the sleeve. This right here, all this kind of discoloration and wear is exactly corresponding to this area where it was essentially flopping over kind of all the time. So I want to fill this up with the foam. That way it's a little more solid. I mean, there's a natural joint right here. It's gonna flex right there, but hopefully, if it's all encased in here, it's gonna just move a little less. All right. So if I were ambitious, I'd probably go to the home center, find a piece of 3/8 diameter, inside diameter foam to go in here, as opposed to the 1/2 inch. But I don't feel like going to the store, so we'll just make do with what's around the house. And what I do have is this. So this is foam tape that you would put on, pre-foam if you want to wrap an injury or something like that. I'm just going to use this just to fill this up. I mean, it's good enough, right? It's not. I mean, this isn't high grade. I'm not trying to get all crazy with this. So I'm just going to wrap this like this. Again, doesn't need to be perfect because it's going to get beat up anyway on the next sparring session. So let's just roll this up here like this. Again, I'm just going to kind of keep wrapping until I match the handle diameter, that 3/4. So I'm not doing it too tightly because I want to keep it relatively. I want to keep those those kind of cells open, so they have air in them. It's not solid foam. So I'm just going to go back and forth like this. Yeah, that's getting pretty close already. So I think 3 layers is probably good. That seems about right. Alright, that's good enough. And now I want to make up this little piece here. Again, just I can fill that gap. We'll get close to the 3/4 diameter. If it's not perfect, whatever, it's fine. It's close enough. Well, let's see. I need some kind of tape. So hang on one second. Every Filipino martial artist has electrical tape because that's how you fix your rattan sticks, right? So I'll just use a little piece of this to, come on, just to hold that guy on there. So, and that much. Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, roughly yay. Okay. Perfection is not important here because it's going to go inside the sleeve, that outer sleeve, and it'll just get beat up anyway. So, alright, close enough. Alright, so essentially I've just made up the diameter, so it's going to fit a little better inside there, as well as a little extra foam in the end. So this is still soft, but not too floppy. Alright, so let's give it a test fit. So I'm going to take this dude, and you can see the blue line, and this will line up kind of there. So alright, so we'll just throw this in here like this. That's all the way in there. That's kind of good because it'll taper down a little bit. So let's see. Yeah, there. That's pretty good. And then since I'm going to close this up with tape, that'll be good. So that's much more. That feels much better to me. All right. Now again, I don't have. Where's that little one? The old one. This had duct tape. I don't have duct tape, and again, I'm not going to go to the store and get duct tape. Since I'll use what I have on hand. So I'll start with this, just to start closing up the seams. Sorry about the noise in the background. That's my heater, because it is cold this time of year. I'm just going to do this first, just to get the seam closed. This is just me being real shade tree. I'm not. Let's do this. Let's do it like that. You can get as fancy as you want, or as high quality as you want with your construction and your refurbishment. I mean, the beauty is that it's easy to take apart and do again if you want to change it up. Try a different technique, whatever you like. So, and of course, at some point, I'm going to wear it out again, so when that time comes, I can try something different. I'm just trying to, what do you call it, approximate the seam here. Let's go to the end. Ooh, oh, that's pretty stiff. A lot of foam in there. That's good though, I think, right? Because we want that. I don't want this end to be too floppy, because those kind of what we're finding in the sparring session. Since getting into this is that it's got a nice feel to it, right? It's because this shaft, the inner shaft here is thinner, so there's kind of, it's not as rigid, we'll say, as the PVC. So I try to make a PVC version, homebrew stick with just PVC and pipe insulation, but it had a different feel to it. It was much stiffer. This one has some bend in it. See that? I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure, but it's bendy. But that was the thing; it was really bendy. We were finding in sessions that you made contact and it would kind of bend around where you made contact. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that, well, it did make for some weirdness in terms of accuracy, because you'd think you would stop a hit, but it would come through because it would make it around the obstruction that you encountered. So, well, anyways, all right. So I'm going to go between these guys now. I want to close the seam fully. So what I don't want this to be doing is rattling around in the. You could say, well, why don't you just go down the whole thing? Okay, fine, let's do that. Reason is because it's easier little by little, so I'm not having to. I only have two hands here, guys. So, see, that's what I'm saying. Alright, and let's try that. Super janky. Again, whatever, because I can always take it apart and do it again, which I'm going to have to at some point anyway. So, whatever. I'm just trying to close the seam all the way through. Another thing is, if you go to Home Center, you can get that. There's that pipe insulation that has the adhesive in it at the seam, and then I think you just peel off a little thing and you can stick it together. So that's, again, you want to get fancy with it, do that, right? Get the nice stuff. But again, I'm being a little cheap here. I'm just using what I have around the house, and so it is what it is. Alright, so I'm gonna make up this here because there's a little step seam here. I could cut it off, but I kind of like the idea of it kind of tapering like that. So let's just mess around here with this. Let's do. I think I kind of want to do like this, just to give me a little bit of a taper at the end, round it off. Let's do like this maybe. Let's do 2 more pieces just to cover it completely. Yeah, something like that. Nothing too crazy. That's good enough, actually. I want one more. Let's be thorough. Alright. Something like that. Yeah, that's gonna work. Alright, so what I think I'll do now, I like the idea of having the whole thing in tape just because it's, well, it keeps the cells of the foam together. If you're impacting, something might cut through this, so at least you have an outer sheath, which I guess is what that's for, but you know what, let's just do it. Alright, so I'm going to do traditional stick wrap with the electrical tape. We're just going to go around like this guy here, like this. And I'm sure this is probably, you want to get crazy into like, wow, that's, you're adding some ounces on this guy. Well, so what? Who cares? You do you when you take apart your ActionFlex stick, and you can do whatever you want. So I'm just going to do this. I'm not wrapping it too tight because I don't want to smush the foam. I don't want to make it less soft than it is. Otherwise, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a foam stick if you compress it. So don't compress it, just very lightly. I'm just very lightly wrapping, just to give me an outer skin basically on this foam. Hopefully that'll protect it from anything sharp, I guess. It's gonna break the foam, so to speak. Yeah, good enough. Right? It's gonna get beat up. So, but again, when you want to do yours, you can do whatever you like. Do Gorilla Tape, that's on my heavy bag, Gorilla Tape. Duct tape. I think the duct tape makes sense because it has those kind of fibers in it. But I don't know. Experiment. See what you got. See what it does. Now this is the black version, as you can see. They make 3 kinds. There's a red and a blue also. And the blue is heavier, very heavy. So I'm guessing the construction is a little bit different. It's heavier and harder. The red one, I think it's similar to this, but let's do that. Yeah, good enough. Okay. So I'd be curious to see what's inside those. All right, that's pretty good. All right, now let's take this guy. I need to invert this. Hang on, be right back. Again, the sheath is in good shape, so I have no reason to do anything with this. I'm just going to turn it back inside out, or right side out. What I should do, let's do it this way. Can I just start here? I don't know. I can hear it now. No, you're doing it wrong. Listen. Let's see if it'll fit now with all this stuff I've added to it. Let's see. Oh, see, here's the hard part. here's the fun. Okay, come on, get on there. Come on. Come on, play nice. Okay. Here we go. Aha. Alright. Oops. Let's do that better. There. Okay. Aha. Yes. Okay. There we go. See, that's nice and solid. And also that little taper filled out the little end here. So, good deal. Now, this stuff was kind of like this situation when I took it off. I'm going to reuse this stuff because this is I don't know what this is. This is thin and stretchy compared to the other stuff, compared to this one. So I don't know. I'll reuse it. What I think I'll do is I'm going to wrap in this direction because that way, when I go to slide the, well, let's do this because I'm backwards. Let's do it that way. When I go to slide the handle on, it's not going to pull the seam up, pull the seams of the tape up. So let's do this good here. Let's do that. Something like that. Alright, let's do this. Let's go like that. And then we'll crud, here we go. This is going to be the am I being cheap, just reusing? I'm being responsible environmentally, right? No, I'm kidding. I don't care about this stuff. Don't get all triggered about that. I just want to reuse what I have here because it's there. Alright, nice. Let's go all the way down to that. You know, I did that backwards. I totally did that backwards from what I just said I would do. You moron. Why did you say? You guys were supposed to yell out, right? Hey, you're doing wrong. Okay. Top to bottom. Where's the sticky part there? Actually, now that OCD me is kicking in now. So hang on. All right. Is that the sticky side? Yeah. I have no idea. Whatever. Okay. That's what I wanted. So now the seams are this way, so when I slide it on, it's not going to roll them up. Which is what I said earlier, then I did the backwards thing. But hey, I got it right now. Let's corrupt these threads. Okay, there we go. Yes. Now, this dude. I don't know if I want to put glue on this thing or not. Because this went this way, I'm going to do a little twist action. Like that. This could probably benefit from some glue or something to kind of keep it on there. Cause I have a feeling this is going to slide off as we work this thing, as we use this. But we'll find out, I guess. Oh, come on. Come on, dude. It's right there. Ooh. Yeah. Yes. Almost. One little. Come on. Ah, there. There we are. One refurbished ActionFlex. I took the labels off, guys, you can tell. But that's better. It's still bendy, but you know what? It's. Yeah, this is much better. It doesn't flop anymore. This thing was really floppy. You can still feel the seam right here, which is okay, but good. All right, So there it is, guys. One refurbished ActionFlex. You saw the construction. Very interesting construction. I dig it. Good stuff. So that's it. Thanks, guys.